So the other day, we talked about a Guatemalan undocumented immigrant who was interviewed. And he said, I kind of want Trump to win because I want the economy to do better. And then when it was brought up to him, like, you do know you're an undocumented immigrant, right? His reaction was like, yeah, but Trump's not going to come after me. He's going to go after the criminals. He's going to go after the ones that are violent. So we covered that. We talked about that a little bit. Now I got another one for you. This is a Latino Trump voter. And he's asked about this same topic. Listen.
If they let in hundreds or thousands of people who already have criminal records, if deporting them creates a mass deportation, I'm all for it.
But what if rounded up in all of that are people who work on a farm? They're doing the jobs that Americans don't want to do. Does that worry you?
That wouldn't be fair. Of course, they need to make sure that they don't throw away, they don't kick out, they don't deport people that are family oriented.
Somebody said this on Twitter. I don't know if it's true, but it certainly feels true, that nobody's more conservative than like an undocumented immigrant that just became documented. Like somebody that just became legal. So all of a sudden they're like, hey, man, now I'm across that bridge. Burn it behind me. As long as I'm in, I don't give a fuck about any of the others. And we did see a lot of, the Latino vote. We saw this. Trump like broke records for Latino men who voted for him. And I've certainly in my life, I've known plenty of Latino men who actually were politically pretty conservative. And it's a really interesting phenomenon, right? It's one of those things where it's like, homie, you think you're on the team. You are not on the team, bro. I hate to tell you, but these conservative Republicans would rather have me with them than you. And I disagree with them completely on policy. But they'd rather allow me in than allow you in when you agree with them completely, but you're Latino, right? It's like, you're not on the team. I don't know how to tell you this. I know you want to be, but you're not. You're just not on the team. Okay, so now this guy in particular. Look, it's amazing to me. Trump has this superpower. Obama had this superpower too, where people will just project onto him whatever they want them to believe. So somebody would look at Trump or look at Obama and say, if I'm on the left, this candidate's on the left. If I'm in the center, this candidate's in the center. I can disregard this thing that I don't agree with because he doesn't actually mean that one. He only means the things he says that agree with me. This might be part and parcel of being a good, skilled politician, is that for whatever reason, you're likable enough or charismatic enough or whatever, that people look at you and they just assume you agree with me. Like whatever you say that I agree with, that's what you mean. If you say things I don't agree with, you don't actually mean it. You're just like, whatever, pandering to whoever else, but I know what you really believe, right? And that's sort of this idea. How many times have we heard this argument from people? Guys, not only did Trump say, we're going to do a mass deportation of the undocumented immigrants. That's not the only thing he said. He also talked about mass deporting legal immigrants. He said the legal Haitian migrants in Springfield, he wants to deport them. They're legal. How are you going to deport them? You have Stephen Miller, who their idea is do this mass process of denaturalization. So naturalized citizens, legal immigrants, they want to make them illegal again and then kick them out. So for this guy, it's like he thinks not only is Trump's going to do mass deportation, but in his mind, he thinks Trump only means violent, criminal, undocumented immigrants. That's what this guy thinks. I got to be honest with this dude, man. That is not remotely what he thinks, not remotely what he believes, not remotely what he's going to try and do. That's a policy. I don't know almost anybody that would disagree with that idea. If there's anybody who's worthy of deportation, it is undocumented immigrants who are violent criminals. That might poll at 99% in the country, that if anybody's worthy of deportation, that's the exact group. Guess what? You know how many people fit into that category? It is insanely tiny. Insanely tiny. They want to deport 20 million people. You think there's 20 million violent, criminal, undocumented immigrants in this country? That is preposterous. In fact, we've gone over the numbers. Did you know that both documented immigrants and undocumented immigrants are less likely to commit crime than natural-born American citizens? They commit crime at a lower rate. So how do you get to a 20 million number and you only take out violent, criminal, undocumented immigrants? It's not going to happen. Bro, these people, you are not safe from this. You're not. You're just not. And by the way, just for the record here, in my experience, in my life, certainly, this is anecdotal, but it's worth whatever it's worth. The undocumented immigrants that I've known are literally the hardest working, nicest people I've ever met in my life. And they more fully embody the idea of American values than many Americans do. And that's part of what makes this so incredibly frustrating, is that you want to tell all Trump is doing here with this policy is total scapegoat. That's it. It's divide and conquer. It's, hey, yeah, your life's shitty. I understand that. Your wages suck. Your healthcare sucks. You got all these problems. I agree with you. I'm mad, and I know you're mad. But let me tell you why, who you should be mad at for these things. It's the undocumented immigrants. It's the trans people. It's the Democrats. This is what he does. He points to them. And then people get all riled up. They think, oh, if you crack down on these people, they're the enemies and my life will get better. No, it won't. No, it won't. The only way your life is going to get better is if we take on the real villains. The real villains are the billionaires and the Wall Street CEOs and the lobbyists and the big money donors and the corporations and the people who have bought our government and rigged it in their favor and screwed you over. They're the reason we don't have a higher minimum wage. They're the reason we don't have the PRO Act. They're the reason we don't have universal health care in this country. They're the real problem. Point your anger in the right direction. But instead, no. Trump is such a good con man and scam artist. He's able to trick a Latino voter into believing Trump's mass deportation only is of violent, criminal, undocumented immigrants. People are going to learn the hard way, man. People are going to learn the hard way. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.